Huddle Buddies, welcome back to Bring the House podcast. I am your host, Marshawn Fairley, along with my co-host and the star, DT. How are you doing today?
Doing all right. Still recovering from the ass kicking that I received on Sunday. We'll talk about it. But I'm doing all right.
No, definitely, and I hope you feel better as well. You got double whammy. You're sick and you got beat down.
Yeah,
So fun times, man.
yeah.
Fun times. At least hook them. Texas Longhorns doing well. Hook them.
Yes,
So
indeed.
that's
That's the
good to hear.
only thing keeping me surviving right now. That number one ranking just came in hot off the press. I'm feeling good about that. But hey, bro.
For sure.
Um,
With that being said, here we're gonna jump into a quick recap of
yes,
what
indeed.
happened during the week. We're gonna start off here with the Thursday night games. We're gonna start off with I say Thursday night games, Thursday night game
Mhm.
singular. The Bills versus the Dolphins. What are your thoughts, really quickly, DT, on that?
Man, like I said, like during the off season, bro, like the Dolphins needed to go out and get them something that worked in the cold weather. And though it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't cold to start the game, you or this particular game wasn't a cold weather game. You still
Mm-hmm.
need physical elements of football. They're still missing the physicality required to do well against a team like the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills are more will than they are skill. They're more will than they are scheme, and
Mm-hmm.
so they got to be able to match that when the time comes to match it. And I think that's the main reason why the Bills have their number every time they face them is that they just can't match the will that the Bills come with. And so
Yeah,
that's just where they end up. They just gonna get housed every time they play them at this point.
I understand that. There, Bills versus Dolphins, another poor game for the
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins. Uh, I do hope Tua gets better, and we're going to get to that later on. But just another poor game. They had Khalil Shakir out there looking like a Pro Bowler. They had James Cook looking like his brother in his prime.
Three tutties.
Yeah, yeah. They had and shout out to them. They had a heck of a game, especially James Cook being home. So yeah, Dolphins just got to do better.
Yeah.
McDaniels also the end of the half. Let me just address this here. End of the half, McDaniels. What was that play called? What was that? There was no sense of urgency. I actually
Mm-hmm.
had a friend, uh, D DeLong. He said that McDaniels is better as an offensive coordinator than a head coach, and it's
Yeah.
really looking like it now. It's really looking like it. So that's our thoughts on that Thursday night football game. Let's get into some Sunday action. Let's get into these Sunday
Yeah.
games here. Let's go ahead and go down the list with our thoughts here quickly on the recap. First game on Sunday, or the first game we're going to go over, is the 49ers Vikings. What are your thoughts here, DT?
Well, when you come to mind, right? I think that Brock Purdy didn't have a terrible day, but he didn't have a good day either. He was 28 for 36, 319 yards passing, one TD, one pick. But
Mm-hmm.
and then even Jordan Mason still had 100 yards, but he did it on 20 carries. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it just for some reason the Vikings. I think that's the only team Brock Purdy's lost to in the NFC during the regular season of his career. For some
Yeah.
reason, the Vikings have him figured out. I need to go back and watch that tape and log it
Mm-hmm.
for all these McVay and Shanahan offenses that keep cooking the Cowboys. But yeah, I think that Sam Darnold was able to utilize Justin Jefferson in a way I didn't maybe foresee him being able to from a fantasy perspective. So I think
Yeah.
he might be able to get to 75, 80% of what everybody thought he was going to be able to produce. Speaking about Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
But they look good. Sam Darnold like he's gonna be able to manage it. And the defense obviously is gonna give him a chance if they can hold San Francisco to 17 points, even
Yeah.
without Christian McCaffrey. That's still a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's one thing that stood out to me. Two things stood out to me about this game here, DT. The injury bug, it bit both teams in this game. Not only did Justin
Yeah.
Jefferson, even though they said he's all right, he went out the game. Nick Bosa was injured. Christian McCaffrey already knows injured, and Debo was injured in this game. So
Mm-hmm.
the injury bug bit both teams in this game, but also the defense for the Vikings held it down. Usually time possession game goes to 49ers. The Vikings managed to keep the ball or keep them off the field, stop their progression when it comes to first, second, third downs and their big plays and things of that nature. So shout out to that Vikings defense. They definitely did their thing. That's my thoughts on that game. Next game we're gonna go to is we're gonna go through these really quick. Seahawks Patriots. What's your thoughts on that really quick?
Good game. Not much to say about that. I did hear that DK Metcalf had a nice long touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He had 10 for 129, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of undervalued him in my fantasy drafts, so that kind of sucks. Geno Smith went 33 for 44, 327 passing yards, but only one touchdown, which don't look good. But then when you look at it, Zach Charbonnet had 14 for 38 and one touchdown as well. So
Yeah.
overall, it's a decent day. I mean, how real of a playoff threat are the Seattle Seahawks if they took the Patriots to overtime? It's a question you got
No.
to ask yourself. Even though the
No, I
Patriots
definitely
seem to
say.
be scrappy, it's still a
Mm-hmm.
question you got to ask yourself.
Yeah, that game, it was I'm not gonna say because of the points you see and it went to overtime, but it was kind of a back and forth game.
Yeah,
It just seems like the Seahawks now that Kenneth Walker went down, they just disregarded the run. That's why you see 44 attempts, or it was 44 attempts, right? From
yeah, it's 44 attempts, 33
44
for
attempts from
44.
Geno, 44 passing attempts. That's an outlandish amount in my opinion, especially for the Seahawks team that's known for running. And like you said, the Patriots are just scrappy. Patriots are just scrappy, and Hunter Henry is doing his thing. So
Hmm.
that's my thoughts on that. Giants Commanders, NFC East
Well,
rivals.
pissing contests. I felt like Malik Neighbors kept me alive, and I have Malik Neighbors on my fantasy team.
Mhm.
He kept me alive during most of the game, but who's it? Who was it that killed me? Bijan. Bijan in the Sunday night game cooked me.
Yeah,
So that's what happened to
yeah.
me. It was a nip and tuck game, and then Bijan came up, and that was it. But
Monday
Jaden
night game.
Daniels,
Monday night game.
yeah, Monday night game. Jaden
Mhm.
Daniels went 29 for 23, 226 yards passing, no touchdowns. Brian Robinson, he went for a buck 33, which is good. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I just you're not. Come on, bro. Like at the end of the day, we can have this conversation maybe another next week or a week after. But
Mhm.
I need more from Daniel Jones, bro. Daniel Jones can't get beat by a rookie, not only rookie
Mhm.
quarterback, but rookie head coach as well. Not he's not a rookie; he's just second stint. But it's his first year for the Commanders, and then
Mhm.
you know this just can't happen. Like on certain days, the quarterback has to be the reason that your team wins and has to carry
Yeah.
your team. Like you would never expect Tom Brady to go out there one Sunday and lose to I don't know name
Let's
it name
go.
a quarterback
Andy
name
Dalton. Andy Dalton and the
you
Bengals.
would you wouldn't expect him to lose to Andy Dalton, or in today's time you wouldn't expect Patrick Mahomes to lose to Caleb Williams this season in a regular season game. Like you just
Mhm.
can't have that. Like if you're gonna be paying these guys all this money, like Daniel Jones is now getting paid, he has to carry the day on in a game like that. Even though it is a division game, he still has to carry the day, and he's just not able to do that. And he has no more excuses really now because Malik Neighbors had a decent game, but he also has a number one receiver in Malik Neighbors. So
Mhm.
that high tide needs to be raising Daniel Jones's boat as well, and it's just flat out not.
Yeah. 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 Like you said, pissing contest battle for the bottom of the barrel. Shout out to Washington. Shout out to Jaden Daniels. But yeah, like you said, bottom of the barrel, scrap. Uh, there's two crabs pulling each other down. Speaking of, you said Tom Brady is supposed to lose to Andy Dalton, or Patrick Mahomes is supposed to lose to lower tier quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The Ravens Raiders, Gardner Minshew, and the Raiders beat the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. What's your thoughts?
This excuse me. This sets
Mm,
up for a strong matchup
yeah.
between Ravens, who should be desperate to latch on to what their identity is going to be for this season, and the Cowboys, who are struggling to be relevant because right now they look like the same old Cowboys that we've always seen.
Hmm.
Right now is what we're coming out with the same old team. So I mean, they're both in the same spot here, even though the Saints look like they're a better team than the Raiders are.
Yeah.
Uh, I just feel like that's it's like this group of teams who are like disappointing regularly, and that's
Hmm.
the Baltimore Ravens, the Dallas Cowboys, the Miami Dolphins, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and maybe one or two other teams.
The
Teams that are
Bills.
always going to lose. I wouldn't say the Bills because the Bills just dominated the Dolphins. The Bills only really disappoint against like their division opponents, which every team in the NFL is going to disappoint against. But they
Hmm.
also disappoint against like top tier teams like Mahomes and the Ravens in the playoffs, and just different things like that. So
Okay.
I wouldn't count them in that group. But the group of teams that are going to lose games they shouldn't lose, those teams
Hmm.
I mentioned, and so those teams um, are pretenders posing to be contenders. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I think the Ravens versus the Cowboys at the end of the season, I think both teams will be playoff teams. And so this game will go a long way in the Cowboys, beating a playoff team, which they struggle to do. And on the other side, the Ravens beating a playoff team, which they clearly struggle to do. So it means nothing to me in terms of the actual matchup, Raiders versus Ravens. But I think it,
Hmm.
it it confirms the fact that at this moment in time, the Ravens are more pretenders than they are actual contenders.
Mm. Yeah, this is a shock to me. This was a shock to me. Um, Antonio Pierce, shout out to you and Gardner Minshew, literally
Mm-hmm.
the most efficient and I wouldn't say efficient, the most he completes the most passes in NFL currently right now. He has the highest completion percentage. So shout out to the GOAT Minshew, Gardner, my boy. Um, but yeah, this was a surprise to me. Brock Bowers is showing off his tail. That Devontae Adams, former Packer, has some spectacular catches. Yeah, it took a heroic effort for them to beat the Ravens, but like you said, the Ravens they have to stop playing down to their opponents. It's
Yeah.
just it's getting ridiculous. So yeah, definitely that game was a shock. We're gonna do a two piece here. We're gonna go. Let's go Chargers Panthers. Your thoughts here really quickly, and then let's just jump to the Browns Jaguars after that.
Chargers and Panthers. Uh, we'll talk. We have it queued up for later today.
Mm-hmm.
The only really news that comes out of that game is what's happening to Bryce Young. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, that's a tough situation. Congrats to the Chargers though. I mean they're not they're 2-0 to start the year. They're looking good. I think as we sit, they might be. I wouldn't use the word serious competition for the Chiefs, but
Mm-hmm.
I think the Chiefs have a tougher division than what they might have thought they were going to come into the season with, and the
Yeah.
Chargers are going to be a real. I think the real threat when you think about the Broncos and the Raiders, the Raiders got lucky, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not about to threaten their division
The
rival like
Chiefs.
the Chargers can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that they're going to be right in that wild card fringe range. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Yeah. My thoughts: Chargers, great run game. Panthers, got to do something. Like you said, we're going to discuss Bryce later. But yeah, Chargers definitely great run game. Uh, Horrible for fantasy, but great for winning. So that's my thoughts on that game. Browns Jaguars. Your thoughts, DG?
Deshaun, I'm looking at you right here. You had 22 for 34 and 186 yards passing, no touchdown. You didn't throw no picks, but you're not a pick guy. Now the guy
Mm-hmm.
behind you is a pick guy. 30 for 30 is behind you, but I still need more. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not even about the money no more. Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
we done gone way past the whole 240 million guaranteed conversation. Like you are on the brink of being a guy that is out of the league if you're Deshaun
Mm-hmm.
Watson, and the reason for that is that you are too big of a distraction to be a backup quarterback in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
once Browns is over for you, like I don't really see a team like wanting to. Of course, it's gonna be that first couple that bring you in, but like
Yeah.
you don't have the career backup path. That's not gonna work out for you. So it has to work as a starter. And from what you've shown us, you can't win a true quarterback battle going into 2025 if you were to
Hmm.
try the Jacoby Brissett route. So if you're on a hot seat, brother. You just like these head coaches, like, you got to pick it up, man. It's not getting it done. I mean, you of anybody, Deshaun Watson has got more weapons than anybody, and I don't want too much hear anything about how they don't have Nick Chubb back and all that. Like, with those weapons, you should be able to make a 800-yard rusher out of anybody. I'm talking
Yeah.
light boxes, the whole nine. Like, you got Amari Cooper. I know Jerry Judy's not all that, but if you got Amari
And
Cooper, Jerry
Joku.
Judy can be a nice two. You got
And,
more. I mean, it's just plenty of guys to throw to, and for you to only have 186 yards is it's just beyond me. I don't even understand how you even do that, especially against the Jaguars. I can't even name a defensive back for the Jaguars. I can't.
yeah, like you said, Deshaun Watson has to pick it up. Everybody's going to complain, like you said, Nick Chubb's out and Joku was out. But at the end of the day, you got probably, I would say, the best defense in the NFL. I would say that the Browns defense is actually better than the 49ers this year. So
Yeah,
you probably had the best defense in the NFL. These games shouldn't even be close at this point. You should be putting up 30 plus points, and the other team, like the Jaguars did, 13 points. So your defense is bailing you out. It is what it is, but at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson, you got to man up. You got to start playing correctly. Jets Titans.
no weaknesses, bro.
Exactly, exactly. Jets Titans. What's your thoughts?
Um, I think that was a solid pick me up game for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they come out, they not as maybe clean as they would have preferred it to be at 24-17, but a
Yeah.
win is a win. Aaron Rodgers did get hurt. Everything's looking good in New York, at least on that side of New York. I don't know about the other one. Aaron Rodgers went. He completed a little over about 50% of his passes, 18 for 30, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. Um, Brees Hall had a decent day, nothing to write home about, only 62 yards rushing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did like that run I saw from Braylon Allen.
Yeah.
That I
The
love.
kid, 20 years old, man.
I did. I pulled one of these and I ran to the waiver wire and picked him up. Or at least put the waiver in to pick him up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I don't know how many carries he's gonna be able to get, but I mean, it looked good though. Like that one
Yeah.
run. I know Brees Hall is all that in the bag of chips in New York, but Braylon Allen don't look bad. You know what I'm saying? And I think after week one, I gave the New York Jets defense a little more flack than they deserved.
Yeah.
I said they was gonna have a not so great year. They were gonna fall off. I don't think they'll be as elite as they were. They were a top five, top three defense in the NFL. I think
Mm-hmm.
maybe they could land somewhere between top 15 and top 10. I don't think they'll fall into the bottom third, bottom half of the league anymore. Um,
Okay.
so it was a nice day. It was a real nice day, I think.
Shout out to, like you said, Braylon, the youngest player in NFL history to score a touchdown. Shout out to the kid. Um, my takeaways with Levis, we got to do better. Boneheaded picks. I understand it's your second year, but man, like throwing out of that sack. What are we doing? Like you did the same. You lost your game against the Bears last week. So Will Levis, we got to do better. Aaron Rodgers, you can see he's getting back on track. I do know some of his receivers. You could tell that they haven't been working together for long because they were cutting off some routes short. Like the one play where it was a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers, it wasn't a touchdown. The play wasn't a touchdown, but it should have been a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers threw a back of the end zone fade to the receiver. And he cut it off looking for the ball over the wrong shoulder early. So, yep. But we do see Aaron Rodgers getting back to form. Let's go Buccaneers Lions.
Playoff rematch.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a very good game to watch. Old Faithful showed up. old reliable. And my man's Mike Evans bummed out. I couldn't pick him up in fantasy. Um, you know, they did their thing. You know, it was a good game. You can't really fault either team for like you can't say the Lions are illegitimate because I mean the Buccaneers are a good team and Baker Mayfield he looks like I wouldn't say that the number one pick that he was, but like he looked like he could cook. He looked like he could do a few things, you know.
TD
Um,
Baker, my boy.
yeah, I mean he 12 for 19 is a really really good day. It's hard to get over 200 yards when you only have 19 attempts.
Mm-hmm.
He did get over 200 yards. He had 185. He did throw the one pick, but then he also gave you 34 yards on 5 carries rushing as well. And so that's the type of Baker that's Heisman level production. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so, giving it to you in key moments on the ground. And so, you know, I think coming out of the game, certainly the Buccaneers look more dangerous than the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Lions have that offense where it's like the McVays and so on and so forth. And so it should be more reliably point producing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're another complete offense as well that should be very, very difficult for defenses to really corral and to stop. And that wasn't true on Sunday. They held them to 16 points. And especially with all of them being healthy as well, they have the best offensive line in the league. They have one of the strongest
Yeah.
offense. They have one of the strongest receiver cores, a decent quarterback, but also
Mm-hmm.
two really really good running backs. Like they're the most one of the most complete offenses in the league, and they only can put up 16 points against the 15th or 16th best defense in the NFL. And so that's there's questions to be answered about that.
Yep. Yep. No, understood there. Shout out my boy TD Baker, like you said. He's
Mhm.
doing his thing. He does look good. I always believed in my man's. Lions, they're not winning the division, you know. Malik Willis, because we're gonna jump right to that game. Malik Willis gonna carry my Packers until Jordan Love get back. Malik Willis did his thing. I did count you out, Malik Willis. I was saying I was scared, but and then the Packers defense also showed up. Anthony Richardson, very, very. I think he's suffering from the fact that fantasy football owners overhyped him.
Mm.
They made it seem like he was the next quarterback, and I'm not saying he doesn't have time to be one of the next top tier quarterbacks, but you can tell by some of his decision making, overthrows for accuracy, things of that nature, that he's still a project and he's still a little raw. So that was my takeaway from the Packers.
Excuse
Lions
me,
not
sir.
winning the division, and the Packers, shout out to Malik Willis. Shout out to my boy Josh Jacobs. We got to hold on to the ball on the goal line. And shout out to Dontavius Wicks and Joshua Dobbs and Christian Watson and them.
Hey, sir.
Yeah.
Y'all gave this man 32 carries
Shout out to Josh Jacobs.
in
He still
today's
got to hold
NFL. In today's NFL, y'all gave this man 32 carries.
on to. Hey, shout out to Josh Jacobs. Like I said,
No, 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 no. LaFleur should be in jail. 32 carries.
we
Marshawn
paid for it.
got 6 carries.
We paid for him, bro. We pay.
That's
That's what he was
wasn't
paying for. He has to carry the team while
not
while Jordan
bad.
Love is out, and
25
then Malik
carries, maybe, but 32.
And then Malik Willis is the quarterback, bro. No offense to Malik Willis, he's not a known passer. So we're not gonna
Bro,
do the
he can't throw
same type
five
of
more
offense.
screens. He can't throw 5 more screens. Just five. 5 more wide receiver screens. He can't throw 5 more
It
screens.
gets it gets oh, hey, a dub is a dub, and their defense couldn't stop it. Why would we stop ourselves?
So y'all gonna give the man 32 again this coming week? That'll
If
be
we
6
got to, we will.
carries in 2 weeks.
If we got to, we will, bro. Jordan
Bro,
Love is gonna be back before he knows it. And then he gonna have back to 15, 20 carries, like you said, 25. Jordan Love gonna be back before he know it, bro. He's okay.
32
He's gonna be
carries
all
is
right.
a lot in today's NFL, bro. We ain't seen that since Zeke, and we see what happened with that. I don't even think Derrick Henry was getting 32. I mean, I gotta
Nah,
fact check
nah,
that,
he's getting. I
but
mean, he got
damn,
30 a couple times 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago.
bro, that's early 2010s. type numbers. 32 carries.
we got a bell cow back, and this is what this man is paid for. So like I said, shout out to Josh
Y'all
Jacobs. We got to hold on
tripping,
to them fumbles, but shout out to Josh Jacobs.
y'all tripping.
Hey
You
man,
hyping this,
and Doug,
you hyping up Malik Willis like he had a good day. The man only threw for 122 yards.
he had a decent day. He had a
Damn,
decent day.
he couldn't give me 160.
No,
He missed
he
it
didn't
40
need.
yards.
We didn't need him to do 160. We needed 120. And on the ground, though, he had what he had on the ground.
Anthony
Right.
Richardson gave me 204.
On the ground, he had 41 yards too. So there you go, 160.
The only reason y'all
What's
won, bro, is because Anthony Richardson threw 3 picks.
that's
If
what I'm
y'all
saying.
y'all
He
use
was
the same formula next week, who y'all play this coming week?
We played the Titans. Will Levis.
Oh
We'll
shit.
be all right. We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Well, never
We'll
mind.
be
The
all right.
case is closed. The case is closed.
We'll be
Y'all
just fine.
he gonna
That's
give you about
another
4 picks.
three. That's
If
another three. That's what I'm saying.
he give you
That's some boneheaded plays.
three, he
And one
give you
pick six.
one of them was a
And
pick
that's
six.
no. I'm saying Will Levis throwing
It's
a
gonna
pick
give you 3
six.
picks. Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
oh yeah. Had a couple fumbles. Most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's gonna occur.
Turnover prone.
That
So
was straight.
yes, like I said, shout out to them. Uh, I said that we was gonna go next to the Rams Cardinals. What's your thoughts on that game?
Hey, you know, I gotta give Cardinals their credit. Put up a shut up, and they put it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think I said in one of our preseason shows that the Rams, well, a bit of a fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't want to be the guy that kicks them while they down, but by my math, that's 0-2.
They down.
And one of the 0 and one of the ones from the 0-2 is in the division, and not only is it in division, but it's an ass whooping.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where the Rams go from here. I don't know if they have it in their building to be able to overcome not only starting 0-2, but the way the 0-2 looks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I'm not ready to put a fork in them yet. But if they come out of this quarter of the season at 1-3, or I mean, if they come out of the first 5 games of the season at like 1-4, they might be competing for Carson Beck or whoever y'all have as a number 1 quarterback.
Sean McVay gonna be threatening to retire again.
Yeah, that's gonna be what that is. It's not looking good in LA at all.
Yeah. Shout out to Maserati, my rookie of the year pick. 2
Yeah,
touchdowns in the first quarter with 100 something yards in the first quarter on
yeah.
4 receptions.
He only had 4 receptions though.
That's all he needed. That's all he needed.
Where was he the
That's all
rest
he
of the
needed. They actually started to stop having him because I will say, watching the game, a lot of his stuff was busted coverages, or it was not busted coverage. It was just plays made by Kyler. Kyler would like break out a sack or run to the side. The defense would break down, and then Maserati Marv keep doing it. So shout out to him as well. But he'll like leap behind the defense and get the ball. So Kyler
So
just
this
showed that
elite route
he's one of
running
them.
that we promoted all off season, that not we on this show, not we on this show. This elite
Mm-hmm.
route running that the world promoted about Marvin Harrison Jr. has not equaled this fantasy separation, which will equal fantasy targets and receptions.
He
Not
does four.
if
All he needed was four.
La La Land, not
All he needed
actual.
was four.
So the answer is no.
He had the second most receptions behind their tight end Trey McBride.
How many Pro Bowls does Trey McBride have?
Trey McBride, this is his second year.
That's not what I
So
asked.
well
I mean,
he has zero.
I know the Cardinals hype him up to be a phenomenal tight end, but
He is.
he's nobody put him in. Is he in the conversation with Isaiah Likely? Would you rather have McBride or Likely?
McBride.
Oh, you smoking really.
McBride can run and block. Likely is a part-time player. And that's not and I wouldn't say it's Likely's fault. But Likely a lot of the pressure and stuff is taken off him because he does have a Pro Bowl tight end that he's in back of. Trey McBride is out here solo dolo. Tight TE1 for the Cardinals. And really they second best pass catching option. They got Michael Wilson, Elijah Higgins, and Greg Dortch, Trey Benson. as their other pass catcher. So it's really Marvin Williams and Trey McBride, the only two weapons that in the passing game wise that the Cardinals have.
So I'm just so I make sure I was hearing you correctly because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the internet go in and out. You said that you would take McBride over Isaiah Likely for the Baltimore Ravens number 80.
Yes, yes. Where was Likely's production last year? We can compare stats from last year.
Likely had Andrews in front of him.
Okay, so that you just
McBride
proved
has
my
no
point.
one in front of him, and he's
He
still
won.
not elite.
And then on top of that, he was their best pass catching option last year because it definitely wasn't Hollywood.
On a team that had no receivers.
He
What are you
he's
talking about?
showing that
What you
he's
saying?
showing that he can do it by himself. He doesn't need Zay Flowers. He doesn't need Andrews. You know, he can do it by himself. He doesn't need. Well, he does have a great quarterback, so that's that. But I'm just saying, Trey McBride is good, and
Okay,
Marvin
he's
Harrison
good.
Jr. is
But
going to win. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to win Rookie of the Year with his elite route running.
where's his elite route? Oh my God. Where is his elite route running in the first 2 weeks of the season?
He just went for 130. What else you want from the rookie?
Bro, you just told me that the four was busted coverages or broken plays, and then he
Okay.
didn't do nothing else the rest of the game. All of it came from the first quarter.
They didn't pass the ball a lot, number one. Number two, just because it's broken plays doesn't mean that he didn't run a great route. He just probably wasn't seen in the beginning of the play.
Y'all told me the man had elite route running that made him ready out the box week one. That's what
He
y'all
is.
said. That's what y'all said. And he gets out there on the field, and through 2 weeks, he has
Mm-hmm.
140 yards
In
receiving.
2 weeks for a rookie?
But no, y'all said he was going to be all pro as a rookie. That's what y'all said. So he not
Who
even.
said that?
That's what was being said about Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, it was
I don't
said.
know about all that. All pro is crazy when he's behind
That's
a
what
lot
was
of
said. That's what's
he's
being
behind
said.
a lot of rookies. I would say that this year so far, he is probably the second best wide receiver so far behind Brian Thomas for the
What are you talking
Jaguars.
about? Jaguars. No, bro,
Yeah,
he's not. He's not the number one, bro, because he made one toe drag swing in the end zone.
bruh. Let's look at these stats here. Let's look at these
Pull
stats
him up,
here.
bro. I'm educate me because I'm stupid apparently. Educate me. Through the first 2 weeks of the season, Brian Thomas Jr. has 6 receptions, 8 targets, 141 yards, which sounds about like what Marvin Harrison Jr. had.
Marvin Harrison Jr. has. I should have brought up the. Should I do a compare thing, but they didn't have it on there. So let's just do this. Cardinals. Go back to that. So last game he had 4 for 130, two TDs, two tugs. And in this game, I mean, that was the Rams. And then the first week he had Cardinals. Actually, he did not play well against he did not play well against the Bills.
No, what's
He
the number,
had
sir? State the number out loud for the record.
one reception for 4 yards.
One damn reception for 4 damn yards. And you mean tell me this is your 1 and 2 in
Rookie
for
receivers?
I know Robo Duce is like who the hell is that at this moment in time? Like we don't even remember who that is
Exactly.
at this point. And I
Exactly.
know Malik Neighbors is struggling with a bad quarterback, but I would still feel more comfortable stating that Malik Neighbors looks like a better player than those two guys. He does.
Really?
He does. Especially, maybe not so much with Marvin Harrison Jr., but especially Brian Thomas Jr.
Just because he made some plays after the catch, you think he okay. I can see where you come from. Talent. If we're speaking about talent, yes, but currently, right now, in their situations, those are my number one and two. But I forgot it may be the number one receiver, rookie receiver at least, is Patrick Mahomes' buddy down there, Xavier Worthy. Because I forgot about he gadget guy. You know,
He
he got
looks
it.
more effective than both those guys.
I mean, but you got to realize he's also in a way better offense with way more weapons. So this is beside the point. We was doing a recap.
Yeah.
We was doing a recap. So just know, Marvin Harrison Jr., shout out to the kid. Show this man, do everything in your power to show this man who Maserati Marv is. I want you to ingrain your name in DT's head. All right, four more games left. Bengals, Chiefs, and Steelers, Broncos. Your thoughts, DT?
Um, Bengals and Chiefs. That was a quality football game. When
Mm-hmm.
I saw that they had Bengals and Chiefs and Dolphins and Bills on the week 2 schedule, I was like, damn, pump the brakes a little bit, because those are two heavy hitting games. Dolphins was a dud, but
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs and Bengals was a pretty good game. I
Mm-hmm.
liked how their Bengals defensive coordinator was able to slow down Patrick Mahomes, like he always does. And
Mm-hmm.
and I like how what they do on defense with the Cincinnati Bengals is they're able to play a lot of different coverages and they're able to tailor their scheme to the quarterback that they're facing and to the
Yeah.
scheme that they're facing. And that's not typically what a lot of defenses in the NFL do. A lot of them do like what they do. If I like cover three, I'm gonna run cover three, and if you beat cover three, shit, I'm gonna run it again.
Lou
Whatever.
Anarmo.
Lou is that guy. If
Yeah.
if if there's one defensive coordinator that I could hire for a head coach, that like in today's NFL, I would never hire a defensive coordinator as a head coach because it's just too difficult. But if there's
Yeah.
one guy I would consider, it would be Lou. And that's because he could do a lot with a little. He's proven that he can
Mm-hmm.
do a lot with a little. But yeah, that's what I like. I really like to watch the Bengals defense play.
Yeah. Yeah. Two people for me put their mark on this game, or really one person and then one group of players. The first person, like you said, the defense for the Bengals, Trey Henderson, or is it Trey Henderson?
Yes,
Uh, Trey Henderson put his mark on
he did.
the game with all even he was just creating havoc for the Chiefs. Even when it comes to he didn't even touch a player, but he had illegal hands to the face put in his face because the tackles were so scared of him. So he put his mark on the game. And then
Mhm.
the tight ends, whoever the offensive coordinator is for the Bengals, did a great job of realizing Isaiah likely kind of went off against the Chiefs last week.
Yeah.
He's a tight end. I should have my tight ends go off against him. So then they had people like Mike Gesicki, Drew Sample. A lot of these bigger tight ends, Eric Hall Jr., tight ends group had more than half of their, like, Gesicki had 7 catches, all had 4 catches. Drew Sample, 3 catches. So they had more catches combined. Really, everybody except Drew Sample had more catches than Jamar Chase in that game. Just to show
Yeah.
you that they leaned on the tight ends like crazy. So a shout out to the offensive coordinator and shout out to the tight end group. They did their thing.
Mhm.
Steelers Broncos. Your thoughts?
I, we talked about this in the pre-show meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy for me to say I was right about Justin Fields in this moment, right this second. But even as the person that wanted Justin Fields and the Bears to stay together and wanted the Bears to ride out Justin Fields, he still has not done enough for what I think his ceiling is and what I think his potential is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he has cleaned up his propensity to turn the ball over. There
Mm-hmm.
was no difference between him and Will Levis, what we're seeing from him today. But now he's better with that. I don't think he has any. He doesn't have any interceptions, but I don't think he has any fumbles either. I'd have to fact check that, but I don't think he does. And so that's a good starting point to grow, is to learn how to not turn the ball over, and then we could go farther into playmaking and creating once we get to that step. But yeah, I like what I'm seeing from them. Their defense doesn't surprise me. It might surprise some people, but it doesn't surprise me. Um, you know, I just need to see from their offense overall more consistent production. I need them to get to averaging 24 points a game. That's what I need
Yeah.
them to get to. And I need them to be doing that comfortably, not a struggle to get to 24. I need comfortable 24 points a game.
My takeaways from the game. Uh, Justin Fields proved me wrong because he's actually becoming a winner. Like you said, he didn't do a lot, but he secured the dub by being a game manager. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
Broncos. My takeaways from them is Sean Payton's a phony. Drew Brees carried his career.
Oh
He's
my.
making Bo Nix look foolish. Two interceptions. His offense is pretty much too hard for anybody else to control but Drew Brees, in my opinion. Also, I will say this though: his team didn't do him no favors. That offensive line is horrible. That's why Bo Nix had 2 picks. And then Dosage, we gotta talk, man. You dropping 3 passes in 2 or 3 passes. I think it's 2 or 3 in one game, and no one. It wasn't like it was hard catches. Like he's leaning and tackle. I'm talking about running before the ball catches as a tight end.
Hmm.
We're gonna have to stick him to blocking. Those are my takeaways from that game. Last 2 games: Texans, Bears, and Falcons, Eagles. Texans, Bears. DT, your thoughts?
Texas Bears, another good game. Caleb Williams didn't play that horrendously to me. I'm starting to realize that I might be becoming a Caleb Williams apologist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he's a rookie, like get a man some time. Again, towards the end when he started getting desperate, he did have a few turnovers, but early in the game, he wasn't turning the ball over like that. He was keeping his team in the game. He understood when it was time to punt it, when it was time to try to make a play. He's figuring it out, and he almost got out the gate on that one scramble. Well, not scramble. I think it ended up being a sack where he had one more tackle to break, and the middle of the field was wide open. And so I think in the coming weeks he's gonna pop a few of those. Like everybody has to adjust because Caleb Williams has never been the Lamar Jackson level athlete or the Anthony Richardson level athlete. So he has to understand and learn how his athleticism plays at the NFL level. And I think he's still working through that. And that's why you saw some of the picks and how he threw. If you remember, our breakdowns of Caleb Williams, which I encourage everybody to go look at, the types of throws that he was making as a weakness are the same throws that ended up being picked in that game. And so, he's just trying to learn and figure out which plays he can make, which plays he can't make. And I don't think the Bears are going to compete for a playoff spot, but I think the Bears will definitely not be picking in the top 5. I would say that. Um, and on the Texans side, y'all shouldn't be struggling with the Bears.
Yeah. Yep. I I don't know what's your affinity with Bears quarterbacks and being apologist for him,
Wow.
but Caleb looked horrible. And I'm not saying it's all his fault. I did watch a breakdown of what went wrong. Part
Hmm.
of it is his offensive coordinator and his scheme, the scheme he has around. Like no rookie quarterback should be for at least eight to 10 snaps in one game on offensive snaps. No rookie quarterback should be in 5 wide. It's too much to read. It's too much to comprehend. I understand he's trying to do like motion tails and stuff like that to see what the defense is playing. Like, oh, it's on. This person gonna be open. I should look at that. But this is the NFL. Anything is they have disguises, things of that nature. So if they sit still, oh, they're in zone. No, it's a disguise. They're in man, and now he throws a pick. So I'm not gonna say everything is his fault. It's also partly his coordinator's fault, and then also the O line. I'm not gonna say O line's bad, but 5 wide plays are meant to be quick hitting plays. They're not made to be max protection plays, stuff like that. So he didn't play well, partially because of his circumstances, but also Rome doing the drop the touchdown. Not gonna say nothing too much about that, but
Yeah, that was
I
bad.
was, yeah,
That was really
yeah,
bad. It hit him in both hands.
yeah, yeah.
And
So
for his like receiver type, he's supposed to be the strong hands, catch anything guy.
possession, yeah.
Yeah, that did not look good for him to drop that hit both hands. That's that's why we briefly mentioned him earlier when we said we got a couple guys that's disappearing. He's one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that's my takeaway. Caleb Williams is not good. He's going to continue to struggle this year. He's a Bears quarterback. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Like you said, Texans offense lackluster, defense great as usual. The linebacker may get suspended for a couple games for throwing a punch. You got to control. You got to control your emotions, my boy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I understand it's heated, but you got to control your emotions. And that offense, like you said, should not be struggling against the Bears. I don't care how good their defense is; they shouldn't be struggling. Last game, Falcons, Eagles, DT. Your thoughts?
All I got to say is when the Cowboys got their ass kicked on Sunday,
Mhm.
I thought that I was going to be behind in the NFC race, and thanks to the Vikings and the Falcons, that race was reset. So thank you to Falcons and Vikings. I appreciate you guys. Everybody's 1-1. New start for the Cowboys to lose it again. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Shout out to Kirk Cousins.
Commanders number one. Yeah, Kirk Cousins showed some life. And, Kirko two chains. Uh, Perko chains. Oh no, I'm sorry, Perko Cousins. Eagles defense, man. I don't know. Through 2 weeks, they're not looking so hot. Howie Roseman,
Name it up again.
like you said, he making the splash plays, but he's not. He's not like I don't know. I don't know. That defense not looking too hot. It's I've seen a stat. It's been 6 NFL weeks since the defensive line for the Eagles has had a sack.
Mm,
So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what they do against the Saints. I'm looking forward to that game. I may start the whole Saints offense. Yellow.
yeah.
But that's our quick recap. And it wasn't really quick, but that's our recap of
Hmm.
every game. Now we're going to get into some specific topics, Huddle Buddies. We're going to go ahead and start off with our specific topic on the Thursday night football game. It's the talk of the town, Tua's health, and our thoughts on the Tua situation. DT, what is your thoughts on what happened to Tua and what should happen moving forward? I should say, not what he should do, because of course he's a grown man. At the end of the day, he's going to make his own decision.
Yeah.
But what should happen at the end of the day?
My initial reaction the moment I saw him, with his hands in that goalpost position or whatever they're calling it, my initial
Mm-hmm.
reaction was that he'll never play in the NFL again. Um, and that he shouldn't be allowed to play in the NFL again. He shouldn't want to play in the NFL again.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes a thing where, and part of it is the circumstance of what has occurred specifically to him in these
Mm-hmm.
concussions. That's unique to anybody who's ever had a concussion. He's had two like noticeable reactions to being concussed in the, I don't want to call it a seizure, but whatever you call the stuff that was occurring to him medically, those
Mm-hmm.
both occurred on prime time or during prime time in like front of the whole nation. And so that uniquely puts him in a different light to where people that don't know anything about the NFL, that aren't really NFL fans, saw this on CNN or saw this, at the water cooler. And so
Mm-hmm.
years from now, when Tua retires or has retired and he may or may not experience those CTE symptoms, and it's going to be a conversation of, well, like that's a negative light that the NFL I don't think should want going forward, because of how public Tua is now at this point. And,
Mm-hmm.
then for Tua the man, Tua the human being, nobody wants to, potentially put themselves in a situation where their brain isn't functioning properly into their later years, in addition to
Mm-hmm.
risking their own life and what they might do to themselves, like we've seen other people with CTE do. Um, and so, yeah, man, I think he should hang it up. If I were him, now I said all that, but if I
Mm-hmm.
were him, I don't know if I would be turning down $200-300 million.
Yeah.
Uh,
Apparently he's
I
not
think,
hanging it up. Apparently he is elected
yeah,
to continue to play.
apparently he think he just got a high ankle sprain. Don't know how that worked, but that's apparently what he think. And so, he gonna sit it out a couple weeks in a dark room and get back out there. That's how it was. That's how it was for a long time with concussions.
Yeah.
But like I said, like nobody, no, I've never seen in all my years of both playing football, watching it, I've never really seen somebody like lock up like that
Yeah.
on the
Tense
field.
up. Yeah.
I've never seen that from a
That's more
concussion.
so. That's more so. And not to interrupt you, but that's more
Go
so
ahead.
of a symptom, or we see that more so in UFC,
Hmm.
boxing, stuff
Yeah.
like that where they're getting punched in the head. You rarely see that in the NFL. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I I completely understand. But you were saying, I'm sorry.
No, I think I said my piece. In summary of what I was saying, I don't think he should play again. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
the NFL should allow him to play again ever. But if I were him, it's hard to turn down 300 million. I would push to play. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
coming from, and I know a lot of people are gonna, despise, especially, and I've been seeing this a lot with Dolphins fans. Oh, he's fine. He should play. Let Tua play. Y'all just hating. No one's hating on Tua. Dak Prescott gets hate. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson gets hate. I seen Derek Carr get more hate than Tua. No one's hating on Tua. We're really looking out for his health. Everybody, oh, you don't really care about his health. I've had concussions. I played football for 4 years. I've had 3 concussions. One concussion every year, and I've been knocked out twice. I know about concussions. They're not a good experience, and they do affect your motor skills, walking, things of that nature in the future. And it also affects your memory. So, like you said, you rarely see in the NFL someone seize up like that when they get knocked out from a concussion. Usually they're asleep, or yeah, usually they're just asleep. But it's rare you see that unless it's a brutal knockout in UFC or boxing. So to see that on the football field is very scary, very alarming. So
Hmm.
I personally do think he should at least contemplate hanging it up. And also coming from a Packers fan, I've seen 2 people have to hang it up because of concussion. Jermichael Finley and well, just Jermichael Finley on the Packers, but Javid Best as well. He doctors wouldn't let him play. So I'm not saying what he should do, but I will lean towards more so what the doctors say. If the doctors say you can't keep doing this, like we don't want to see this twice a year. Do you want to see somebody, DT? You want to see somebody seize up twice a year, every year? That
It's just
doesn't
week
look
two.
like
It's just week
yes.
two.
So I think he should really contemplate hanging it up. Your life is longer than your NFL career. Okay, you could keep playing and have one of the greatest NFL careers ever. Your NFL career probably gonna last about another 15 more years. You're gonna be what, 38, 39, 40? What you gonna do for the next 40 years before you turn 80? And now you can't remember your kids' birthdays, or you can't remember your grandchildren's name. You can't remember where you were born, where you were married. We have to. I think he should really sit down and think about this. Of course, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, he's a grown man. It's his decision, but I think he should really sit down and really think about this and really talk with his loved ones and actually
Yeah.
listen. Because I know as a football player, we don't listen. It sounds good, but like you said, 300 million sound good, and playing the game that I've been playing my whole life sound better. So those are my
Yeah.
thoughts on the Tua situation. I definitely hope the young man gets better, and I hope he sits down. And, he makes a correct decision. Whatever decision he makes, I'm all for it. And like I said, I hope he has a fruitful rest of his life.
I just think in wrapping that segment up, man, that wasn't
Mhm.
even that hard of a hit.
Yeah.
And of all the people, the nice young men in the NFL that are wearing guardian caps
Hmm.
in the game, why the hell is Tua Tagovailoa not wearing a guardian cap? Why
I
does he
agree.
have to be told to wear a guardian cap? Why is he not required to wear a guardian cap? But
Yeah, especially situations like this.
yeah, and bro, like it's week two. He's got 16 more games left. He's probably not gonna play in the next two or three. But he got a real shot of really getting blasted.
Hmm.
And if he really gets blasted, then what? And so that's where I'm at with it. I don't think it's worth
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell him
No.
not to do it.
Exactly. We can't tell him. Like at the end of the day, like we say, he's a grown man. But I hope, like I said, I hope he makes the right decision. I'm not saying the decision we're saying is the right decision. I just hope he makes the right decision for him and his family, especially his loved ones, because they want to see you after football too. They don't want you coming home forgetting stuff, man. They want the tour right now that they love.
Hmm.
So that's my thoughts on that. We're gonna jump to another sad topic. It isn't as sad as a tour situation, but the Carolina Panthers benching the number 1 overall pick last year after 18 starts. DT, what is your thoughts? Do you think it's premature? Do you think that it's the right time? What do you think were the factors that went into it? Tell me your thoughts.
I definitely think it's premature. Um, the new Josh Rosen. Um, you can't get me to believe that the Heisman Trophy winner doesn't know how to play football anymore. Um, and so it's kind of like how do you get the job? Like how do you get the job of to be the head coach? And in the plan, you say, well, if he doesn't perform, then we're gonna be off of him in 2 weeks, and we're gonna go to Andy Dalton, which I like Andy Dalton, and I think he should still be a starting quarterback in the league, but I don't think he's a better quarterback than Bryce Young, like in terms of potential, and so you know, like the dude has nothing around him, bro. Like, why are we even like people are hyping up this particular play where he threw a screen pass to Adam Thielen and it was like way off target on like a third down. Excuse me. And it's like, bro, what the bleepity bleep is Adam Thielen gonna do with a screen pass anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like what exactly is he gonna do if he was to catch a quick screen on 3rd and 2? He probably couldn't get to 2 yards anyway, bro. Why are we throwing a quick
Take it to
screen
the
to Adam Thielen?
you gonna take it to the retirement home, brother.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm
facts,
sorry.
bro. So it's like, yeah, he should have completed the pass, but for what? Like, get the man some weapons. You gonna be looking like the Bears? You wanna look like the Bears? The quarterback they had 2-0. No picks,
Yeah,
no fumbles, nothing. With a
yeah,
whole new
yeah.
team looking clean. Shit, trade him to the Cowboys. We'll trade you right now. Trey Lance for Bryce Young. Straight up, right now.
I will say, and I'm going to ask your thoughts on this too. I will say I done heard arguments from both sides. Like you said, I done heard the premature argument. When people said you hired a quarterback whisperer coach last year, you had a whole quarterback whispering staff around him when it comes to office coordinator, coach, and there was too many voices last year. And this coach this year, he did right by Baker. He did right by Geno Smith, resurrected his career. So I heard that argument that it was premature. He didn't do his job. I personally think it was the right time, and the reason I say that is because, and I'm not saying that you didn't ruin this man, because like I said, the situations he done been through 2 years, not even 2 years, 1 year and 2 weeks. He done been through multiple offense coordinators and multiple head coaches. He had one head coach last year, interim coach. Now he's on his third head coach, and it hasn't even been 2 years. So the organization definitely failed him. Definitely failed him. Didn't put nobody around him. But the best chance for the Carolina Panthers to win is not with him playing. I don't think he's going to figure it out while playing. I mean, he needs to sit back and actually watch. And there's been a lot of quarterbacks who were written off of their first team and came back. The main one I'm thinking of is Geno Smith. Geno Smith early in his career was written off. Boy went to the Seahawks. Now you don't want your first overall pick going to a different team and performing crazy, but at the end of the day, that may have to happen. It may have to be a change of scenery. Excuse me, for Bryce Young. So I definitely think he's talented, but I do think it's the right time for them to at least sit him down and have him learn a little bit more. What do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that they have a quarterback whispering coach who gave up on him this early?
It's like I said, like why are you even why how did you even get this job? If
Mm-hmm.
anywhere in the plan that you present to me is that I'm going to give up on him after 2 games. Like the fact that he is not ready to play,
Mm-hmm.
like, and he's played this poorly, is an indictment on you as a head coach. And you've got Xavier Leggett, you've got you have a a couple different pieces that if you're this offensive guru you claim to be, you should be able
Mm-hmm.
to get to 10 points like comfortably or get to 14, and you can't do anything. I mean, you can't do shit.
Yeah.
And the man has a Heisman Trophy at the crib, and you can't do nothing with him. And so he didn't just forget how to play football.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't
Yeah.
happen. And it's come on, bro. Like I just think that the Carolina Panthers guys go to these organizations, man, where in these teams that build the football team backwards. They start with the
Mm-hmm.
quarterback and build the team after they get the quarterback. But what they fail to realize is that when they do that, when they do it that way, they're going to have a shell shock quarterback when when they have the team built.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a quarterback that sees ghosts when the team is built. And so,
Yep.
what good is that? So now you got too decent of a team like the Cowboys. You got too decent of a team to get an elite quarterback out of the draft because you're picking in the middle of the draft now. Because your team is too good, like the Saints. Saints not picking in the top five. Their
No.
defense too good. They got just enough on offense to be good enough to win a few games. And so, like you have got to the Carolina Panthers should have built their team and then got the quarterback last. And because they didn't do it that way, they screwed Bryce Young's career. And I wanted to say, as you were talking, how many of these
Mm-hmm.
guys do we actually see come back after being benched? These top five, top 10 quarterbacks. None of them. For the team that drafted them. How many
Oh
of them
no,
actually
none of
get a
them.
true reset? They told us that homeboy from the Jets was getting a reset. That's what
Zach
they told
Wilson.
us. That's what Robert Sala told us about
Zach Wilson.
see how fast we forget his name? Zach Wilson. They told us Zach Wilson was getting a reset and that he was going to come back, be better, all this and all that. Never saw him again in the Jets uniform meaningfully outside of,
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers going down and finishing the year. He was never given the reins back willingly. They were forced to give him the reins back. And
Yeah.
so, you know, that's it for Bryce Young. 18 games in. That's it. That's what history tells us. There's no resetting. There's none of that.
Yeah. And like I said, maybe you change the scenery, or maybe just sitting behind the Red Rocket. He'll learn something a lot better, and he'll you know at least get some of his confidence back. Because I know his confidence is shot now. His
Bro,
confidence is so
how
shot.
much did Trey Lance learn sitting behind Dak for a year when he went out there and threw three picks against four string players?
I think that's two different. It's two different. Trey Lance didn't win a Heisman. Trey Lance
That's
didn't lead Bama
huh?
to the ship.
But that watch from the bench stuff that's at the quarterback position, it's not going to work because the speed of the game from the bench to you being the guy that's taking a snap, that might work for other positions and that might work at other levels of football, but in the NFL and for quarterbacks, that's not going to work.
So you think they should have just kept throwing him out there, scoring 10 points a game, having him get blown out, sacked 10 times a game?
Excuse me. As I stated, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have drafted him if I didn't have a team. But now that I've drafted him, I would have built an offensive line around him and then threw him out there with no weapons instead of quasi trying to do both at the same time. And now you don't have either. They got the best running back in the draft, but he got a torn ACL. They got Xavier Leggett, the best freak in the draft, but he can't run routes. They got Adam Thielen, who's over the hill. They got Deontay Johnson, who drops the ball and makes splash plays, and that's it. They got a bunch of pieces that was on the trash heap for not necessarily trash heap. They got a bunch of pieces that teams didn't want or was hitting the draft as far as their draft stock for specific reasons. They got a bunch of faulty parts and tried to put it
Mm-hmm.
all together to make an offense. And you know, I mean, their left tackle they drafted, a Kwanu or something like that from NC State, bust. I don't see them trying to bench him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not Bryce Young's fault that the head coach for them hasn't figured it out yet. And he needs time to figure it out too. It's only week two.
Yeah. I
You
just
know what I'm
don't think. I
saying?
don't
Like,
think that. I just don't think that it's gonna help him throwing him out there in the wolves repeatedly.
bro, they wasn't making the playoffs.
They don't need to make the playoffs, but they at least need to have a competent offense. This offense
For
is
what?
not.
They're not going to the playoffs with Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton had 300 yards just one game last year that he started.
Andy Dalton is not leading the Carolina Panthers to the playoffs. So what are we
They
doing here?
don't. They don't need to go to the playoffs, but I think that they need to develop Bryce Young more.
They can't do that with him on the bench, bro.
But you can't do that with him out there, as you see.
Yes, you
This is
can.
insanity. This is insanity. You keep banging your head against the wall. Like this man didn't go 1 for 17, 1 and 17 last year, and now he's going 0 and 2 again this year. Why do we keep banging our head against the wall?
But that's the bed they made for themselves. That's what I think. I think like once they drafted him, they have no
Mm-hmm.
choice. They can't undraft him. So it's either make this work or look like an idiot. And they're choosing to look like idiots, like the Jets look with Zach Wilson. The only
But
way
they
to make
can't
this
keep.
work is to put him out there on the field. That's the only way to make it work. There is no reset. He will never be seen in a meaningful role with the Carolina Panthers unless Andy Dalton gets hurt. There has been no quarterback ever in recent history, the last 10 years, that has gotten the reset, the benching of a top 5 quarterback and gone back out on the field and became the franchise quarterback. Give me one guy that's ever done that. You can't. Nobody can because it's never happened.
This may be
Bryce
the
Young will
first
not be
one.
the first.
I just don't. I just don't. I don't see any. I don't see anybody getting better from him just being out there. Personally, I don't see it. I
I
don't
know,
see
I
it.
know, I agree. I agree. It's very difficult to get better with him on the field with nothing around him to be successful. But he can also not learn and not overcome adversity and not adjust to the speed of the game, like we talked about with Caleb Williams from the bench. And and organizationally, we're
Mm.
gonna have a 8 to 12 pick with Andy Dalton starting, as opposed to a 1 to 5 pick with Bryce Young starting. So again, if Andy Dalton doesn't give us a chance to make the playoffs and go on a run, what the hell are we doing anyway? So either way, it does not make sense to go to Andy Dalton in week 2 of the season. It doesn't make sense, regardless.
I just don't. I don't think we can keep banging our head. I understand we probably gonna go for from a like you said. Maybe the Carolina Panthers don't need a top pick. You see what they do with their top picks. They don't need a top pick. They need some. They need a pick in like you said in the late top tens to where they have a stud they can pick between like a stud. As you can see with first overall picks, up top tier picks, they not doing well. They drafted Mingo, they drafted Bryce Young, they drafted their left tackle. Like they don't do good with picks. So yeah, we can definitely agree to disagree. And he looking like a bust. He looking worse than Trevor
He
Lawrence,
is a bust.
and,
He's not going to
and
play again. That's it. That's
I
it.
wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that
Not he's not
because
going to
like
play in a meaningful role with the Carolina Panthers. Once he
not
leaves
with
the
the Carolina
Carolina Panthers,
Panthers.
he's a bust. Regardless of what he does after that, he's a
No.
bust.
So do you consider Geno Smith a bust?
Hell yeah. The world considers Geno Smith a bust. You know, you
Even from right now, I don't know. I feel like he resurrected his career.
Geno Smith not a
Not
bust to you.
everybody can. Not everybody can be a star. Let me see here.
If you're a first round pick, damn it, you better be a star.
Oh, he wasn't the first round. Geno Smith was second. You think?
So yeah,
Do you think Baker Mayfield's a bust?
no, only because he led the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs in a time where the Cleveland Browns have never been to the playoffs in like the last 20 years, and he had productive seasons for the Cleveland Browns. You know what I'm saying? Like
How
he
about
had
Jared Goff?
that one's a little more difficult. He was number 1 pick, so I would say yes. Yes, that is a
Oh,
bust. Yes. He's the number 1 pick, bro. He did not hit number 1 pick levels of performance. He didn't. Facts. Would
I
you
don't.
say Matthew
But he's a
Stafford's a
good.
bust?
I think Matthew Stafford was a bust until he won the championship. To be honest with you, actually, I wouldn't say
Three
Matthew Stafford's a bust
championships.
because he's a Hall of Famer.
Three
He's a Hall of
championships.
Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
No,
He's a
no,
Hall
no,
of
no.
Famer.
Take the championship out. Take the championship out. Matthew Stafford's
He,
Lions career is that bust.
wouldn't he still be a Hall of Famer? Nah, because Megatron was just Hall of Famer. For
The
the number
Rams,
one overall pick,
he had a hell of a career with the Lions. A hell of a career.
he did. No, I don't. I don't think. Then again, my definition of bust is a lot different from yours. Because even if you're a number one overall pick, to me, if you're a serviceable quarterback in the league, a serviceable starter, I should say, in the league, I think you did your job. Because
So
not
Alex
every number one. You said what?
Alex Smith. He
I
was
wouldn't say him a
serviceable.
bust. He wouldn't be a great. He wouldn't be good. Actually, he was decent. I consider him good. For not
Alex
not
Smith not a bust,
everybody
bro.
can be
Alex Smith
not
not a bust,
not every no bro. Not everybody can be a great. Because if everybody was a great, then we wouldn't know greatness.
huh? Huh? I mean, I understand what you're saying. I feel what you're saying, but I mean, bro, like you don't have to be Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady to not be a bust. You don't have to be like there's Philip Rivers out there in the world. There's Peyton Manning out
Yeah.
there in the world. There's Drew Brees out there in the world. I mean, there's plenty
Yeah.
of guys you can point to that
Actually, these are
are
them last one you said was greats. I'm not even gonna say
yeah
we
they
ain't gonna act
greats,
like
but like
they don't hold records.
when you like add up like the all time list, those guys probably
Mm-hmm.
fall somewhere outside the top 10. Like when you take out the fact that the league has become more passing and all this and all that, because obviously Drew Brees and all those guys I just mentioned are going to have better passing stats than guys that played 20 years ago. But when you take all that out and you factor kind of in a errorless type way, those guys are going to fall outside the top 10. You know,
No,
'cause, yeah,
Peyton Manning is top three quarterback of all time.
Drew
Top, I'm gonna
Brees,
say Drew Brees is top 15.
yeah, so outside the top 10. And
Dang. Okay.
Philip Rivers not in the top 10 all time quarterbacks.
Nah,
Not to
nah.
say that he's not a Hall of Famer, he's just not in the top 10 all time. And so yeah, so like, but that's not
But Bryce Young still has time to be a Philip Rivers.
who?
Bryce Young still has time to be a Philip Rivers.
No, he doesn't. He didn't get his team didn't get rid of him until it was clear he couldn't ball no more.
I know, but you don't have to be a Hall of Famer with one team. You can
But
go
you
to a
do
different
have
team and
to,
become a
in
Hall of
order
Famer.
to not be considered a bust, the team that drafts you needs to utilize you. You don't get
See, that's where we
away.
differentiate.
Trey Lance is a bust, regardless of what happens from here on out.
Well, yeah, Trey. Yes, Trey did perform on two different teams though. But I'm saying if he goes, if let's say Bryce Young goes to a different team, let's say he goes to the Jets after Aaron Rodgers leaves, and he performs there, and he's at least on Philip River levels. Would you still consider him a bust?
Who? Bryce
Let's
Young?
say yes. Let's say Bryce Young goes to the Jets after Aaron Rodgers retires, and he puts up Philip River numbers. Would you still consider him a bust?
You know what your better argument is?
Mm.
You know what your trump card is? I shouldn't even bring it up. But you know what
What
your strongest argument is? Drew Brees, because Drew Brees started with the Chargers.
he did, he did. I mean, did he even have a bad career with the Chargers?
Nah, he just had an injury and that was
Yeah,
it.
and then he got replaced by Philip Rivers, so that's why I didn't
Yeah,
use Drew Brees. I kind of knew that, but I wasn't gonna use that because he didn't even have a bad career with the
yeah. He
Chargers.
kind of had something similar to Baker Mayfield, a
Yeah,
career arc. Yeah, but yeah. Long story short, I would still consider him a bust because like if I'm the fan base, like
okay,
do you think that the New York Jets fan base considers Geno Smith a bust?
a billion percent,
Okay,
a
so
billion percent.
yeah, so they don't give a shit that he went to Seattle and he's performing now. They don't care. In their minds, he's still a bust. Simple as that.
Yeah, I do think, but I think we should agree to disagree with this one. I think it was time. You think it wasn't time? This is our Justin Field arguments part two. We were gonna talk about. We're gonna end it with this topic. We DC. We need a Cowboys rant. We need a Cowboys rant, man. What's going on with the Cowboys? And are the Saints really all that in the bag of chips?
There was a time in my life where I was excited to start the NFL season and the best thing that's ever happened to me at one point in my life was the fact that I was a Dallas Cowboy fan and that I am a Dallas Cowboy fan. Now, now in my life, the most painful thing that I've ever experienced, ever in my life, has been being a Dallas Cowboy fan because it's just a constant pain and a constant go up on the roller coaster only to come down. And to the point where it's like I saw one the other day on Netflix where the girl, it was like a Halloween movie or something where she kept dying, and then like she would go back in time to the day before she died, and she had to figure out who was trying to kill her so she wouldn't die. And but it kept happening until she figured it out. And so like 99
Mm-hmm.
times she had to go back. And that's what it's like being a Cowboy fan. It's like a constant death some way or somehow. And I'll give you an example of that. The last year, Zach Martin pulls out of the Cardinals game 2 minutes before it starts, and we end up getting beat and blown out by the Cardinals, led by your boy,
Josh
the
Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. This game and the Cardinals game are no different. The Saints game, they're no different. The Saints were not a playoff team last year, though they looked good in Week 1. They were not a playoff team last year. This was a team that the Cowboys should have handled out the effing gate. And
Mm-hmm.
what do? In true Dallas Cowboy fashion, they come out there, they shit the bed, like they always seem to do. And so, like I said, I can give you more from history. Buffalo Bills. That was supposed to be our coming out party 2, 3 seasons ago. Didn't work out that way. The Broncos, when Vic Fangio was the head coach, they beat us in Dallas. Remember when Tim Patrick was standing on the star like he was Terrell Owens?
Yeah.
Like, you see how it's 99 deaths? I could keep going permanently. I haven't even mentioned playoff games, losing to the 49ers 3 and 4 times. The and I told this to my brother and my father. Nobody has let me down more in my life. And I have a lot of good friends and I have a few bad ones that let me down regularly. But nobody in my life has let me down more than the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody. To the point where I don't expect anything from them but for them to let me down. And the New Orleans Saints game, and it's okay to lose. It's the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to lose. But other teams that are elite or that consider themselves to be elite do not lose to non competitive teams. And if they do lose to non competitive teams, they play in a competitive fashion.
Mm-hmm.
The Dallas Cowboys consistently get embarrassed by poor teams like the Saints, who obviously look good this year, but again, they're not a playoff team. And for them to go 8 straight drives, 5 straight drives, whatever the number was, touchdown, 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 and for them to have, we're going to get into the details because it's important to understand the mental anguish. For them to have the McVay and Shanahan offense, and
Mm-hmm.
for you as NFL defensive coordinators, defensive players, getting everybody out there getting paid millions of dollars for the same scheme to kick your ass every time you see the scheme, that's embarrassing. And for you to proclaim, just by the mere fact that you're employed by the NFL, for you to proclaim that you know ball better than most men walking the earth, and the same scheme kicks your ass every time you run into the scheme, whether it be Dolphins, whether it be Vikings, whether it be Saints now, it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. And we got meat and potatoes. We brought in Zim. We brought in different guys here and there to make us a tougher, stronger team. All this and that. And for you to go
Mm-hmm.
out, get your at we against the Packers, against y'all, against your team. We had guys running butt naked in our secondary, butt naked, tight ends, blocking tight ends, butt naked in our secondary. Guess what happened against the Saints?
Open,
Butt naked
open
in
receivers.
our secondary.
Shaheed.
Right back where we started. Right back where we started. So for me, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, the season is over. The season's over. Because I know exactly, because I've died 99 times. I've died 99 times supporting this team. I know exactly what's about to occur from this moment till the end of the season. I know how the story ends.
Because y'all
They
signed
showed me in week
Dak
2 they don't
Prescott.
have heart. They're not, bro. Dak Prescott. And this is I've died 99 times. Dak
Hmm.
Prescott is the type of player, oh, well, it's not my fault. He slipped and fell. It's not my fault that pass got picked. You can't really blame that one on me, Darren. He slipped. He slipped in his route. That's not on me. Or the defense uh, gave up 5 straight touchdowns. That's not on me. But Dak, like Shannon Sharp says, what did you do when they scored a touchdown, gave the ball back to you, scored a touchdown, gave it back to you again, scored another touchdown, gave it back to you? Where were you when you were kicking field goals? This is the and so Dak survives off of games like that, to where he didn't play ass, but he didn't pull us out the fire either. That's how he survives. And that's if I'm gonna be paying somebody 60 million, shit. If I'm gonna be paying somebody 40 million, I want somebody that can get me out of the fire. And Dak is not a guy that is capable of getting you out the fire. He's proven that. And today, and that day was another day where he proved he's incapable of getting the Dallas Cowboys out of fires. Incapable. Because we were getting bomb rushed by New Orleans Saints and couldn't do nothing about it but kick field goals. And it's just embarrassing. I'm out on the season already, losing my voice. I know how the story going to end, bro. I know how it's going to end. We're going to end with a decent record. We're going to win double-digit games this year. But we're going to look the same way we always look at the playoffs. This is how this story always ends. How it always ends. I know, based on how this game went, my team, and I look, and I'm coming to a conclusion.
Hmm.
I want you to look at that that Cincinnati Bengals and Chiefs game. Two
Yeah.
teams that we know are elite. They battled. They battled each other for 60 minutes. I want you to look at the Texans and the Bears game. The Texans, a team that we think is elite. They shouldn't have been battling the Bears, but they battled the Bears. They played competitive. They played tough. They played a physical game. The Ravens, who lost to the Raiders, battle 60 minutes. The Dallas Cowboys, their fatal flaw is the inability to have football character and battle somebody for 60 minutes when it's not going their way. They don't have that. When it's not going their way, they go in the can. They've proven that. They're the only. I don't know a team that's gotten blown out more than the Dallas Cowboys. That's a competitive team in the playoffs. Nobody gets blown out more than them. Look it up. Other teams that's been regularly in the playoffs, nobody gets their ass kicked by 20 points or more than the Dallas Cowboys. And there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is because they lack football character to battle and compete when it counts. They only want to front run. That's all they're interested in is front running and getting brand deals. That's all they're ever interested in. It's like the new college football game came out. And you
Hmm.
got those guys that are interested in their brand and their playing opportunities. It's
Scouting.
like the
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys only drafted and scouted guys that had the brand deal as their deal breaker. A team full of guys so if it ain't about the brand, I ain't interested. Oh, you said we got a battle this week, coach? Yeah, that ain't me. I don't get in the mud. Nah, nah. And it's just sad. It's just really sad. And I know I'm losing my voice, so I'm gonna end it there. But yeah, that's my thoughts. It's a bad situation.
Other places, we have to get our daily, not daily, our weekly Cowboys rank. Hopefully they go ahead and win next week and brighten my boy's day.
No, I just told you it's over. It's over. Week 2, cooked.
They may go to the Super Bowl this year, bro. Cowboys Super Bowl, bro.
I stopped saying that 5 years ago because I look stupid. I stopped saying the
Uh,
Cowboys go to Super Bowl 5 years ago. I'm 27 years old. Never seen the Cowboys make it to the championship game. I'm the guy that dies on every hill for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm tired of dying on hills. Like I said, I've died 99 times. I'm not dying on no more hills for Dallas Cowboys. Why should I have Dallas Cowboys back and they don't have mine? The only time they ever
yeah.
had my back was when they beat the 13-0 Saints. My first ever game I saw in a bar, only because I was in Lubbock, Texas, visiting family away from home. I watched that game in a bar and I was so excited, so thrilled. That's the only time Dallas Cowboys have ever had my back. is when they beat the 13-0 Saints with Tony Romo. Every other team, disappointment.
Hey, Cowboys, y'all got to do your job, bro. Y'all got to bring y'all fans day. I can tell you this right now. Malik Willis, Packers, Josh Jacobs, they brighten my day. That's neither here nor there, hello buddies. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. DT, you have any final thoughts on this week?
It's a great time to be a Texas Longhorn fan, and so that keeps me pretty even. It's nice to see excellence in a team that's striving towards a championship, sincerely striving towards a championship. And so it's good to have the Texas Longhorns in my life. It was good to have the Rangers in my life for last season, the Mavericks.
Arch Manning did look good. Five TDs. I mean, it was against UTSA,
Did
but
you see that they said he ran faster than Tyreek Hill has run this season?
all right. All
That's what
right,
they said.
I'm not here trying.
I
I'm not here
heard it,
trying to
I
hear
heard it
that.
was white propaganda. That's what they said in the. I didn't say that. That's what the comments say. But they say the fastest Tyreek Hill has run this year is 20.4 miles per hour, and on that long run, Archer Manning was running 20.7 miles per hour. So
If I
this
don't
year,
see Arch Manning, if I
Archer
don't see
Manning's
Arch
faster
Manning
than
running 4.4 at the combine, I'm gonna blame it on what you said. I need to run. I need to see him run a 4.4.
hey, hook 'em horns.
Hey, all right, hello buddies. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Again, I'm your host Marshawn DT. Good for you to join us. Remember, like, subscribe, tell your friends, share, follow us on all social medias. Other than that, y'all have a blessed night.
We out.
Peace.